Today on Mystery Hunters, we're on the trail of strange forest creatures and scary underwater beasts.
I'm going to Scotland, home of the Loch Ness Monster.
Araya, there's something moving out there. Can you see it?
Doubting Dave's going to show you how to capture a lake monster on video.
I'm so scared.
And people have reported hearing blood-curdling screams in the night, deep in the forest in New Brunswick, Canada. I'm going in to investigate.
What did it sound like?
Those screams that would have woken up the dead.
This is Mystery Hunters. Loch Ness is the most famous lake in Scotland because it's home to a really big mystery. I'm talking about the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie as the locals call it.
Well, me and my dad were going to visit our friend, and we saw something in the water, and it was a long, dark thing. We watched it for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it disappeared into the water. And it was much too big to be a fish.
So what do you think it was?
I think it was Nessie.
Eyewitnesses like Kelly have been reporting strange sightings in Loch Ness for a long time, and not all of the sightings have been in the water. In 1933, a man driving next to the lake reported seeing a huge creature crossing the road in front of him. Another man, Steve Feltham, came to Loch Ness on a family vacation when he was a kid, and it changed his life.
That's me, that's my card.
Huh, cool. Steve's business card says Monster Hunter. Well, what's a Monster Hunter?
I dedicate all my time to watching and waiting, trying to identify what people keep seeing here.
So, have you ever seen the creature yourself, Steve?
I've seen one big disturbance at the other end of the loch a few years ago. If anything, it was like a torpedo going against the waves, just a white line and splashes of water coming off of each wave. You couldn't really tell what it was. You could only tell it was bigger than the resident fish.
So you're convinced that there's some sort of creature living out there?
Absolutely convinced that we're looking for maybe 20 or 30 very big animals that as yet are unidentified.
20 or 30 lake monsters? That's incredible. But what could they be? Many people think Nessie is a survivor from the age of the dinosaurs. They think Nessie is a plesiosaur. Is it possible there are dinosaurs in Loch Ness?
People report hearing loud screams in this forest. They say it's the ghost of a murdered man. I'm going in to investigate who or what could be making those terrifying cries at night. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Christina.
Peter Clark has heard the screams.
Where were you when it happened?
I was on a fishing trip. It was 4 a.m. in the morning. It sounded like these screams that I've never heard before in my life. It was screams that would have woken up the dead.
They call it the Dungarvan Hooper.
Have you ever heard it?
Sometimes when you go through the Dungarvan woods, you can hear this horrible screaming and screeching.
What do you think it could be?
I heard about a story about a murdered cook named Ryan.
And do you think it's him that's making those screams in the forest?
Yeah.
And do you believe it's a ghost?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's the ghost because I don't think any animal can make a screeching noise like that.
Would you ever go in the woods by yourself at night?
Not alone, no.
Peter brought me into the forest to a log cabin.
Why do people think it's the ghost of a murdered man?
Many years ago, in a lumber camp, just like this one, there was a young cook. His name was Ryan, and he was murdered. Now, Ryan was well liked by all the men, and he carried a big money belt on him which all the men knew that was full.
Every morning, Ryan would let out an ear-splitting yell to get everyone at the camp out of bed. One day, the men returned from work to find Ryan lying dead.
His money belt was gone. Well, the only other man in the camp was the boss. Ryan never been sick a day in his life. The boss told everyone that he just took sick and died a short time thereafter. Well, the men didn't believe that story. They took Ryan out. The only thing they could do was bury him. Well, that evening, a big snowstorm blew in. All night long, the men heard screams and howls.
Do you think the Hooper's the ghost of Ryan?
Christina, I believe that you should not go in to the Dungarvan alone at night.
I want to hear the Dungarvan Hooper for myself. It only screams at night. I'm setting up a voice-activated audio recorder. It will turn itself on if it hears anything in the forest at night. Otherwise, it'll just sit and wait.
Lake monsters aren't the only scary things lurking in the water. I got an email from 10-year-old Wei Cheng of Taipei, Taiwan. He knows what I'm talking about. Take a look on the mystery. Take a look on the mystery illustrator.
Dear Doubting Dave,
Hi.
My family and I are going on a trip to the ocean. I know there are lots of strange fish underwater, but is there a chance we'll see a mermaid? Or are they definitely just make-believe?
Well, Wei, there have been mermaid sightings for nearly 3,000 years, mostly by sailors on long journeys.
We do know that huge marine mammals, like manatees and dugongs, can look a lot like people in the water from a distance. So maybe these were the inspiration for the mermaid myth. Then, when people on dry land heard it, they became enchanted with the idea, creating a demand for mermaid books, toys, and movies, and making the myth even more popular.
Because of this, stories of beautiful mermaids luring men out to sea with their songs will probably go on for a long time to come. But as of right now, there are no films, no photographs, or even skeletal remains to prove that mermaids really exist.
Two trucks full of junk, 2 teams of kids, and 6 hours. What on earth can you do with that lot?
Our teams have to build a water bike.
Spring-loaded catapult.
A cannon.
What?
Oh no. It's going to be quite a challenge. But I think they're up for it.
3, 2, 1, go!
The Amazing World of Operation Junkyard, Tuesdays at 4:40 on Discovery Kids.
Will these things even work?
Could dinosaurs really be living in Loch Ness?
I'm here at the Natural History Museum in London to get some answers from someone who's dug up a lot of dino bones.
I love fossil reptiles, all right, and I'd love to see an animal like this alive, but there's nothing like this living in Loch Ness.
What makes you so sure?
The last plesiosaurs died out 65 million years ago, and they were marine animals, so they lived in the sea. The lake at Loch Ness has only existed for the last 5,000 years, and that's fresh water.
That means the plesiosaurs died off long before Loch Ness was even formed. And if one had survived long enough to get in there, she probably wouldn't have liked the water.
Well, if the Loch Ness monster isn't a dinosaur, what is it? Adrian Shine headed up Operation Deep Scan, the biggest and most intense search ever of Loch Ness. A formation of boats took underwater pictures of the entire lake using sonar. Did you see anything unusual out there?
Well, let's go and look.
All right, let's
Up and over.
Sorry.
That's it. That's good. And lower away.
Lower away.
Lower away. That's it. Keep looking at the screen, lowering away. Okay, what do you see?
Nothing. Not even any fish.
That's the problem. It's a problem we had during Operation Deep Scan. There aren't many. And it's why scientists say that there isn't enough food in Loch Ness for monsters.
But just because we're not seeing any food doesn't mean there isn't any down there. We're checking for plankton, tiny living organisms.
Let's see how much plankton there is in this water. The smallest fish eat the plankton. So if there's a lot of plankton, that means that a lot of small fish can live in Loch Ness.
And if there's a lot of small fish, that would mean bigger fish can survive here too, because they eat the smaller fish and so on up the food chain. And if the monster exists, it probably eats the biggest fish.
So that isn't a lot of plankton, is it?
So, not a lot of plankton means no monsters. Unless...
Adrian has a theory. Maybe what's down there doesn't need to eat. He shows me what he means.
A model? You brought me here to show me a model of Nessie?
Not only that. Take a look out into the water there.
That's a pretty big fish.
Sturgeon live and eat in saltwater. They come into Loch Ness only to have their babies. Dr. Shine thinks because they look like reptiles, people who see them could mistake them for Nessie.
Okay, but how do you explain people saying what they saw doesn't look anything like a fish?
Well, maybe I can show you a few possible explanations. Araya, there's something moving out there. Can you see it?
I didn't really find a monster, but what I did find is that things aren't always what they seem.
At first, I thought I saw a strange object surfacing in the distance. But it was in fact a boat, seen as it was going in and out of large waves.
Yes, a lot of sightings do turn out to be illusions. Things like boats, boat wakes, water birds, logs.
So is that all Nessie is? Nothing but a boat? It's unlikely she's a dinosaur. Maybe she's a sturgeon. One thing's for sure, there have been a lot of sightings on this lake.
And there still are, and I can't explain them all.
Hey, excuse me. Aren't you Araya from Mystery Hunters?
Yeah?
Do you mind if I take your picture?
No? Sure. Go ahead.
I set up a tape recorder here to run all night to try to record who or what could be screaming in the forest at night. Let's listen. I hear a sound that could be a long, trailing scream. It's really spooky. After listening to the tape a couple of times, I thought maybe it could have been a plane. Still, there are lots of people in the area that have heard the cries.
Yes, I heard it one night. We were heading back to the fish trap back Dungarvan, and we stopped at a camp along the way to see some friends. And all of a sudden, we heard the offloads howling and screeching start, and we listened to it for about 15 minutes, and it got so bad that we just got scared and turned around and left.
Do you think it could be the ghost of Ryan?
I think it's possible.
Some people believe the screams in the night are made by a ghost of a murdered cook. If you believe in ghosts, the legend of the murdered cook makes a really good story. But let's face it, the Rooper's much more likely to be some sort of animal, right?
So I asked a biologist who knows a lot about weird animals to meet me out here.
What kind of animal would be making those screams?
Well, we're not sure, Christina, but it might be a bird.
What kind of bird would sound like a man screaming?
It could be an immature great horned owl.
Do you think people could mistake this for a man screaming?
Well, I'm not certain, Christina, but there's a lot of other things out there that makes noises in the night that people might mistake for screaming as well. Have you heard of the pine marten?
What's that?
Pine marten is like a large weasel, about this size. A few years ago, I live trapped pine marten in northern New Brunswick, and when you get one in a live trap, it has a very blood-curdling scream.
Have you had any other experiences?
Last year, I was driving to Fredericton early one morning when it was misty, and in front of me jumped an animal out of the ditch, hit the road, and went in the woods on the other side. And you know what? I think it was a cougar. It was a long-bodied animal, tail, and it was a cat. To me, it was an eastern cougar.
I found a tape of a western cougar in the video vault, and they can make very scary sounds at night.
So it looks like the hooper could be a cougar, except, as biologist Jerry Parfer told me, there hasn't been a confirmed sighting in 70 years, and many people believe the cougar is extinct here in the Northeast. But is it?
Roger Noble says he didn't just see a cougar, he caught it on video. Maybe this tape will help us find out who or what is screaming in the forest at night.
In my mind, it was a cougar when they're first seen it.
3 days ago, Doubting Dave disappeared while filming his vacation at Beaver Lake. 10 minutes later, this video was found.
What a beautiful day. Perfect day to go picnicking or fishing. It's just amazing. What was that?
I'm so scared.
Pretty freaky, huh? But things aren't always what they seem. With a video camera, you can make your own lake monster movie. But first, you have to make your lake monster.
I used a pool noodle for its snaky neck, and a few strips of styrofoam to make the neck thicker at the bottom. Then, I ran a wire down the neck so I could bend it to look like Nessie. A ball of styrofoam makes up the head. Then, using some strips of gray cloth, I gave the monster skin. Use another piece of styrofoam for the monster to float on. You want to weigh it all down just enough so the bottom part can't be seen above the water, but not too much weight or it'll sink. Now I attach the body to the float with some more wire. You can even add some eyes for the final convincing touch.
Okay, so it's not going to fool anybody from here, but it only has to work for the camera.
You can make a lot of things work. Use your imagination. Try a model earthworm with a duck's face, or a toy dragon, or even just a plain old piece of wood.
This is the most famous photo of the Loch Ness Monster, taken way back in the 1930s. The giant sea creature you see is actually just a small toy submarine with a fake head attached to it, and it fooled everybody.
It's all about the 3 rules of lake monster filmmaking.
Trick number 1, something shot from a distance can look very mysterious, even when it's not. So try shooting your monster from as far away as possible. That's how most lake monster pictures look, which makes them hard to prove or disprove because you can't really tell what you're looking at. Trick number 2, you can convince people you saw a huge creature, as long as nothing floats by that exposes its true size. So just shoot your monster with nothing else around it except for water. Trick number 3, just because something's moving doesn't mean it's moving on its own.
So try attaching your lake monster to some fishing line and pull it through the water. But keep whatever's pulling it out of the shot. And the rest is just atmosphere. Shaky and blurry images add a feeling of fear and danger. They also make it tougher for the audience to notice that the monster is just a toy, especially if they've already heard there's a monster in the lake. So grab a camera and get go... Oh, just kidding. Did I mention things aren't always what they seem?
Something is screaming in the forests of New Brunswick at night. Is it the ghost of a murdered man, or is it an animal? Could it be a cougar? The only problem is many people believe the cougar's extinct in the Northeast. But is it? Roger Noble said he caught a cougar on this video.
When I first seen it, the way it walks and the size of it, it wasn't like a dog or a coyote or anything. And it having a tail, so it kind of ruled out bobcat. So in my mind, it was a cougar when I first seen it. So.
How big was it?
It was probably about 50 pounds.
Were you scared?
I was excited. It laid down and I was walking toward it, and they could see it kind of crawl toward me. The frame goes all shaky. That's me backing up.
I show Roger's video to Don McAlpine, a zoologist at the New Brunswick Museum. See, what do you think about that?
Well, you know, when I first saw that, I believed that it was a cougar as well.
But the size of the animal didn't seem right to him. Don showed me a stuffed cougar, so I could see how big one really is.
Yeah, we actually used this cougar when we were looking very carefully at Roger Noble's videotape.
To judge its size, Dr. McAlpine's team put markers in one of the exact places where the creature had been.
Once we had done that, we realized that the animal that Roger had videotaped was actually pretty small. It was much smaller than one would expect a cougar to be. And for that reason, we believe it's a large house cat.
Couldn't it have been a baby?
The animal is just too small, we believe, to be even a juvenile cougar.
So it's not a cougar making those screams?
Well...
Don showed me something very unusual.
Hey, look at this. This is the only concrete evidence of cougar in New Brunswick since 1938. This stuff is worth its weight in gold. You know what it is?
Is this what I think it is?
I think it probably is. It's cougar poop.
So this tells us that cougars might still be alive in this area.
Do you think the Dungarvan Hooper is the cougar?
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
There's a really good chance that the screams people hear in this forest at night are made by a cougar, not a ghost. But whatever's really out there screaming in the night, you'd probably not want to run into it face to face.
A lot of people say the Loch Ness Monster doesn't exist. But just try telling that to the government. Nessie is covered by the Protection of Animals Act of Scotland. Ow. Thanks for watching.
I guess you can say both of our mysteries are unsolved this time.
Sometimes unsolved mysteries are the best kind. They just make you want to dig deeper to find out the truth.
There's one thing you didn't really explain about the Loch Ness Monster.
That's called using computer software to fake a picture. Remember, things aren't always what they seem.